But
Spin doctors.
don't go on when it comes to caffeinated drinks,
Yeah, that's true. Our hot topic for today. We're joined in the studio with a very special guest. Let us welcome
Coach Aqil from Dare Training Club. He is the founder, a former national football athlete from the age of 15.
Wow.
He's been through a lot, performing at high levels in national sports, been through army here, went overseas to study in Australia. You did sports science, right, Coach
Correct.
Aqil?
Yes.
All right, so, you're in today to talk about how we can approach our fitness goals for 2024, especially from a strength and conditioning perspective, right? There are lots of gyms out there with many different kinds of classes and training
Correct.
programs.
Yes.
What sets Dare apart, your club?
I guess we can start off with truly identifying your goals. I think people don't realize how specific training can get. For example, if you want to step on stage and be a bodybuilder, there's a very specific training program that you want to go for. If you're an athlete, even if you're an athlete as a swimmer,
it's a different set of training.
Correct. A fighter, etc. Training also changes and it differs. And because of that, I think a lot of people aren't actually sure of where to start, or they just look at training as a very general approach. And I think that's where the mistake lies, and then that's where people also don't actually get what they're truly looking out for, or what they're trying to achieve, for example. So I think the most important thing is to actually have that conversation with your coach and see if this coach is the person that can actually help you towards your goals. For example, if I'm a young kid, I have aspirations to get into the national team for football, for example. And if you go into a gym that primarily focuses on body transformation and fat loss, etc., and then that's where there might be missing links into your training. For example, if I just want to put it in a very relatable and local context, for example, let's just put Shanti, for example, or Joseph Schooling.
Okay.
You wouldn't see them doing just random exercises. You would find them that they'll be working something that specifically makes them faster, explosive, stronger for their sport.
Right.
Yeah. So that's I think that's where I think people need to understand. Training is that specific. So understand what you want, understand what your goals are, and have that conversation with your coach, and actually see if that's where the coach can help you. And that's why gyms differ from each other. Yeah.
So ignorance is not bliss.
No, it's not in this instance. Yeah.
Yes,
So
correct.
we can get that kind of customized sort of like workout plan at Dare.
Correct.
And that is your approach to
Correct.
make it really personalized.
Correct. So I think one thing at Dare Training Club is not only we are knowledgeable and qualified to teach someone who wants to just gain that general strength, being healthy, losing fat and looking good, but at the same time we also specialize in sports performance, and that's primarily what we're known for. So a lot of people that step through those doors could be recreational up to a professional athlete. For example, hey, I play tennis on the weekend, I feel really weak when I go side to side and I'm just afraid of getting injured. I can help you.
Ooh.
Hey, I'm actually I just got dropped from the national team. I feel my fitness are not up to par. I need to get back next season. I want to go back to the national team. I can help you.
So
Wow.
Coach Aqil, you're saying that if you are a recreational tennis player, train with Dare, and you'll be at the Grand Slam next year.
Yeah, we try. We definitely do
He
try.
makes you think that.
Hope
Yeah.
is a good thing, people.
I mean, we do what we can, right?
Yes,
we
of
do
course.
what we can.
Because there's also the skill part of tennis, right?
100%, correct.
That one cannot inject.
Yeah.
You have the physical fitness, but do you have the skill?
100%, yes,
Gotta be
correct.
honest. Gotta be
Yeah.
honest. We're gonna carry on this conversation on our Facebook Live. Come and join us. Hear all about it. Hey, it might inspire you, right? On your weight loss, your fitness goals for this new year of 2024. So head on over to facebook.com/1FN913. Hey everybody.
Hello.
Very good morning.
Welcome, Coach Aqil from Dare Training Club. See how chill he is? Very chill, Coach
relaxing.
Aqil.
Hey, no, but I feel you are also quite strict.
Strict?
See, look at you see his
No
his
nonsense.
hands are there. Yeah,
I'm
no
scared,
nonsense.
I'm scared.
What is your training style? When you
Yeah.
work with your clients, when you work with the gym goers.
Tricky one there, because I think I adapt. I adapt from a general client. And so that's the thing. So I've got a client as well where she actually most recently she just signed up and she was asking me what's your approach to coaching me? Are you gonna like force me to do certain things, etc., etc.? You know, because this is my first time and I'm afraid. You know, so that's the very common things that first timers would say stepping into the gym. And I tell them, you know what? The first day, let's just have fun. We chat, and that's the time where I actually read their body language, how they react to certain things. Even things like, just give me high knees. Let's move from one end to the other. Let's do a little stretch. Here's a 1 kilo weight and see what their reaction is. And if that 1 kilo weight, hey, coach, this is easy. Let's keep going. Cool. Then you know they're willing to push. They're not that type. But you have the polar opposite where you give them a kilo of weight, even though the bag that they came to the gym with weighs more than that. But you give them that kilo weight and they're like, are you sure this will be okay? I won't hurt my back or etc. Right?
You make a good point.
You know, so if you just got to go based on reactions. Now, when I work with my athletes or for a team, for example. Then there's a combination of both fun, play, but they know when we step into the gym and when we do work,
Because there are goals to be met,
100%. Right? Yes, so it's very different and it differs from clientele to clientele, whether it's individual and a team. Yeah,
I wanted to ask you, you know, recently there have been studies about how if you want someone to stick with something, like say a training program, it's got to be fun. So what is your take on that? How do you incorporate fun into your training programs? Or is that like something that's just... No, you want fun? Don't come here.
Yeah.
You know, I want to train serious people. You want to achieve your goals. Then yes, we can have fun.
Yeah.
But not the kind that you think.
Yeah.
But you're right, you know, the attitude counts, right? So is that like a big sign at the front of your gym? If you want to have fun, don't come.
Yeah.
It rhymes.
I mean, here's the thing. That's why there's always the debate on discipline more than motivation, right? But at the same time, you know, that's where individuality is important. Everyone is different. Everyone's approach to goals or their life are different. So I think that's where the skill of the coach is comes to play in trying to bring them out of their shell and understand the purpose of the training. That's one. This is what you got to do, whether you like it or not. But at the same time, trying to find ways to make that process enjoyable.
Because you want them to stay on it,
correct,
right?
100%.
And already I'm getting a sense, you know, that for personal training, if anyone wants to become fitter, healthier in this new year of 2024, it is a process. You know, you mentioned about how even at the first session, you're evaluating still. You know what I mean? Evaluating what's right for this particular person.
Correct.
Everyone is different, right?
And it goes both ways.
So it's really a process.
Yeah, you
Takes
got to
time.
find the right fit.
Yes,
I think, you know, it's like finding a partner in a way.
No, 100%,
because this person has to be able to motivate you to speak at your level, because there are going to be coaches that are firm, there are going to be coaches that are fun. You want to play? Okay, let's just play. I'll be throwing you the ball, you just go catch it. And that would be pretty much your training when you come in. But other people are like, okay, we got to be more disciplined, more structured, more rigid. And so, but which category do you fall into? The latter?
It's hard because I think throughout I think I've been mentored, and I've learned along the way that, especially now I'm running a business, so you just have to be adaptable, right?
Okay.
And I adapt. So you have some clients that say that super fun, we chill, we laugh the whole time, and it's all fun and stuff. But then there's some athletes or some clients will be like, hey, you don't want to mess with.
It's like, hey, Coach Aqil, I just want to train with a bag of rice. Only the bag of rice. I don't want to do any weights. Just give me the rice bag and the basketball.
Hey,
and
that sounds like my training for me for my grocery shopping.
Exactly.
I gotta lug these 12 kg bags of rice to feed my family.
Functional movement, how to bend down and pick up the shopping. Squeeze into a pair of skinny jeans.
You might be onto something.
Hey, Coach Aqil. These are important things.
We're going to head back live on air with Coach Aqil to talk even more about what you will get to experience at DARE and really how we can all meet our fitness and health goals for 2024. Come and join us.
FM 91.3 Good Times Greatest Hits. Foreigner and Waiting for a Girl Like You, and au contraire, waiting for a coach like Coach Aqil has joined us in the studio this morning. He's young, he is fit, he is fabulous. He is the founder of Dare Training Club. And today we're talking to the expert on how to approach achieving our fitness goals for 2024. Because Coach Aqil, you have so much wisdom and so much knowledge in the area of strength and conditioning, right? And, for listeners who are looking to begin a training program this year, what are some things you want them to consider before signing up for classes at a gym?
Yeah. I think one thing I've found is that a lot of people are giving themselves too much of a bucket list, for example. Like, all right, by 6 months, I want to have my six pack of abs.
One per month.
By end of year, I want to go for a marathon, etc. So a lot of people at the start, I feel, have too much, or they set themselves too much expectations when they don't realize it's a long-term process, right? It takes a while, and even us as trainers, we're working and we're training at the same time, and you see us, we it takes a while. So I think that's one thing people realize is, I think, to start off, one is identify what your goals are, stick to that one, and just be consistent.
Okay.
I think that's the number one thing, be consistent, because I think people, end of the day, again, they go hard at the start, for example, and they set all these expectations for themselves 1 month in, and be like, hey, I don't see anything different. But you know what I found that's different is, you do realize that your technique is getting a whole lot better, you're moving a lot better, so there are other aspects maybe that you are not aware of that you're actually getting better. So all those other things that you set yourself will come if you just be consistent. So I'd say find one goal, start off with that, and be consistent, and let your work and time do its thing.
Do you find that happens a lot, with the start of a new year, people, suddenly your gym membership increase, the numbers all increase, then after
March.
2-3 weeks it's like, hey,
not even
everybody? Is that a normal thing that happens?
In reality, what I found is there actually is a little there's the in season, and then there's the down season, so all that is all true. So I think that's where when I coach a client, I try to instill not just them getting a good workout in, but actually knowing how to take care of themselves when they're away or when they're on that little break. What I can do is, like, for example, with June, if they're going for a family holiday, etc., if they are in a hotel and they have access to the gym, most of my clients will know what to do.
Oh, that's really good. So they can train independently.
That's one thing, and that's the job as a coach, right? It's not just to push yourself and get a sweat in. You actually go, you actually finish your packages, or you get out of the gym knowing that I've learned something, and something that I can do it for myself on my own, or impart that knowledge to your kids or your friends, and get more people to work out.
Can I ask you, what should someone in their 40s focus on during training?
I think that's an interesting question, because again, I find myself, for example, again, coming from a sporting or athletic background, my goals have always evolved from the age of 15 to 20. I go through that age of like, I want to get big, look good,
I'm invincible, I'm strong,
and then as we age, our goals will evolve, and I think at the age group of 30 up, even, coming into the 40, I think the most important thing is how do I mitigate those risks or the losses that we get through aging. So we're talking about bone density, loss of muscle, etc., etc. And a lot of people don't realize that in regards to training, there are a lot of neuro benefits to that as well. So much more than just, you look good, abs, etc. Just as simple as feeling better. Keeping your cortisol levels, which is your stress levels, low. And everything would just have a rolling ball effect of...
But a good rolling ball.
100%, feeling better. And hopefully, doing or putting more good habits in your life. So I think that's one thing. It's in regards to goals, in when you're at 40, it's just continue training, and knowing what would, I'd say, fit with your schedule as well is very important.
Oh,
because
true,
again,
true.
with you have to balance with the family or etc. That's what you find. So I think commitment times etc. is also is one thing to consider. So that's where again my point of how training would evolve. What I would recommend is maybe if you could at least fit 2 trainings, and when you get that 2 trainings in, try to really push yourself and just think of something that works overall the body of just of muscle and heart health. You'll be good.
I like that. That's very achievable.
Like,
2
yeah.
trainings, because
Yeah.
sometimes we think of training as like, oh, I got to go like how many times a week and for how long, and then the whole idea of it just puts you off. You're like,
Yeah.
demotivated.
So what you need to do is you go to Dare,
Yeah.
right? And you look for their coaches and you tell them, I want the fun one.
yeah, the fun one.
I want the fun one, okay?
We got you. Easy.
Also, distance to gym.
Distance
Yeah.
to
Hey, we are central-ish.
Where is
I gotta
Central-ish?
put it-
Ooh, Harbourfront Tower, yo.
Harbourfront. I guess that's central.
That's near you.
That's near me.
Yeah.
Okay, no excuse already.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to
Keppel
see
Bay Tower specifically.
Coach Aqil very soon.
Yeah.
I want to point out about how, so you're saying that for those in their 40s, it's really about mitigating the effects of aging.
Yep.
And would you say that, you have to start now, it takes some time, right, to build up, like say, your bone density, or that you can't be like, oh, I just gonna osteoporosis. Okay, I go
Yep.
and train out. It doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah. I think again, it's just about managing expectations and what's real, what's not.
Okay.
I mean, research has shown in an untrained individual and in their 20s, it does take about 6 to 8 weeks to see some sort of benefits there in regards to strength training or cardiovascular benefits. And that's another thing that I want to point out as well. People need to understand that when you train muscle, for example, just hitting resistance, carrying the weights, it's also very different from actually pushing your cardiovascular or your heart health per se. So it's one of those things where someone may look, big, lean, etc. And they look, they obviously you can tell that they bodybuild. It's not necessarily correlated to them also being healthy per se.
Or having good stamina.
Yes, exactly. So that's one thing that people need to understand. Just because you step into the gym and you're carrying weights and you're doing, a bunch of stuff, don't forget the other things such as again,
Flexibility, even.
100%, yeah. Flexibility, coordination, hand-eye coordination, cardiovascular. So one thing that I want to point out and why training. So this is one theme that I always tell people what their training club is like. We train like an athlete, and people will be like, "What do you mean? Hey, I don't want all this crazy stuff. I'm already how old, So that's the common thing. So this is what I'm trying to tell people. Look,
I just want to carry sacks of rice when I grocery shop,
I get that all the
imagine
time.
his inner voice when he say that.
What is this gym? And I say, we are sports professors. Or how many athletes? Hey, not it like that. You know what I mean? Things like that. I be like, hey, first calm down.
Calm down.
Yeah, calm down. But no, I think one thing that I also try to educate people is, so look, as an athlete, we try and hit. You're still laughing at it.
Because, right, Coach, your face is just one kind. I can just imagine how you want to actually look at them and tell them,
Yeah.
and they say like things like that to you.
Yeah.
You gotta have a sign that says, "But first, calm down."
Yes.
Okay. No. So we get the idea that it should be all-rounded sort of training.
All-encompassing,
We're gonna
yes.
carry on this conversation back on our Facebook Lives. Hey, everyone, come and join us. I also want to ask Coach about his take on energy drinks.
Energy drinks,
Yeah. So come
Yeah.
and join us on Facebook.com/1FM913.
So
Okay.
we can see the real you here, where you're just like, I get some people come in and like, no, Coach, and he's just like, the inner voice. I want to hear what the inner voice really is
the
saying.
inner voice.
Yeah.
So you're saying that people come to you,
Yep.
right? And then you try and tell them what Dare aims to achieve,
Yep,
right,
yep.
with the program.
Yep.
And you adopt this approach of like training as an athlete.
Correct.
It's very all-rounded,
Correct.
right? And then they panic. They're like, no, I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
carry on with that. Do that again. That was
so
funny.
this is what I was. Here's the thing that I always try to I'd say educate. I don't know if you want to put it as that, but
Sure.
here's the thing.
Sure.
People are looking at training these days, or especially if they are not exposed to any type of gym training, they'll look at gym training as just bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Right? Muscles.
Yeah.
But think about it. What about, again, like what you mentioned, flexibility, mobility, hand-eye coordination, etc., things like that. Power. When we play tennis, we don't move slow. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When we play golf, we swing that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go bowling, I want to get that full strike. You try and, throw as hard as you can. So think about it. if everyday life is as such, why are you training on just sitting down on a machine? So that's what I'm trying to tell people, that actually when you train like an athlete, you're covering all KPIs and you're trying to pretty much just optimize your human self.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
I want to carry the rice bag and I want to walk to my car.
100%.
And you need to bend down and get into the skinny jeans.
Correct.
Bend and flex.
I don't know about the skinny jeans. That might be a bit much for one thing at a time.
But
I carry
I love
the sex
the holistic approach
Yes.
to training, which is something that a lot of people aren't aware of. Yeah, it's precisely, I think you hit the nail on the head. People just want to look good.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone comes to you, what's your goal? I just want to look good.
Correct.
And then
They usually just grab
specifically-
a whole chunk of their hair and they're like, yeah, do something about this. You know what I mean? That's 90% of everyone that says it.
all the fat jiggling that happens in
I
front
want
of
to
you.
go from
Poor
flab to fab.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take that L away. Yeah, that's all you need to do. Rub out that L. There
If
you
only
go.
it was that easy.
Yeah.
Come, eraser.
Now, I do want to ask you this because we have a segment called Hot Topic, and we discuss, things with our listeners as well. Today's Hot Topic was about energy drinks because there is this particular drink in the States called Prime Energy. It's got a lot of caffeine, right?
Yep,
And they say what you normally find in one can of Coke, the amount of caffeine is actually 6 cans of caffeine, that kind of level in the Prime drink. How do you feel about, diet and energy drinks, especially when it comes to training your clients?
Yeah. I think there's a few things that you can take from that. One is what are you using the caffeine for, or what even is caffeine, and what are the benefits there? So just as layman terms or straightforward, obviously caffeine, the benefits there is it actually just boosts your alertness. You feel a lot sharper. So obviously when you do things like studying for an exam or going into the gym and trying to get that workout in, that's where caffeine comes in and it helps. Where it differs from brand to brand or different drinks is you have to look at the contents, for example. So actually there was a big conversation in our world of sports science on what actually which drinks actually are best, because what Prime is proud of, I think it's if I'm not wrong, don't quote me on this, but I think they are proud of how they have little to no
Little no sugar.
Yes,
There's
I think.
two though. There's the Prime Hydration, there's Prime Energy. Yeah.
So I think the topic that was that we had a discussion on was for one of the drinks, again don't quote me, but I think they are proud on, I think, yes, low. They are low on sugar. So the low on sugar, little to no calories.
Okay.
So there are contents in there that it's all 000 and it's just all caffeine and things like that. So energy drink, for example, Prime. What they are, so the comparison was between Prime, Gatorade, for example, 100 plus, etc. So the comparison there is not necessarily just on the caffeine aspect. One is also why people drink Prime, for example, and 100 plus, Gatorade, etc. is for the hydration purpose.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in regards to hydration, there are specific protocols in regards to ingredients taken. One being that it needs sodium and bits of sugar, etc. So things of all that combined together would give the most effective dose of hydration.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. So that's what they found, is that the comparison between Prime and all the other drinks, for example, again the 100 plus or the Gatorade and all that, they've actually found even if there are certain amounts of, for example, glucose or sodium, etc., those are actually what's needed, and the compounds mixed together are actually as the right or effective dosage to be taken. So that's one thing that people don't realize. So but I mean, again, it's a good. You want to put it as a good strategy to put it out there that hey, it's everything is zero, everything's super low, good for you, but not realizing that you do need that some content of glucose.
I mean, I think it's applicable when you're a high-performing athlete. You're in training,
Yes.
you're in a competition or a race, and you
Yes.
will need that energy boost.
Yes, correct.
But the question, of course, was children. Should children be taking all these high-energy drinks when they're not really training for anything in particular, except for like homework or playing catching or something?
Yeah, I think one energy drink is not going to hurt a kid, because I think you have to look at their whole nutrition. I mean, if you're worried about one can of, for example, Prime, actually, let me know how is this kid eating in general. What is he having for breakfast? He goes to the canteen in primary school. What, he's eating fries, nuggets.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? And then cocoa, ice and tea. So like, what we're talking about here, like just one can of energy drink, and then so it's better to look at the whole approach, the whole picture, the whole grand scheme of things, similar to how even us at our age, how we look at things. So a lot of people like, hey coach, what shake should I drink? What brand you recommend? First of all, like, well, how are you eating? You know, what's your breakfast, lunch, dinner look like?
Sure.
Settle that first.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Sort out how you should be eating in your regular meals. Then we can talk about the shakes and investing and spending that money on buying all these supplements. So that's one thing I think, a different perspective, I guess, to look at it.
Yeah.
I have
Good
one
point.
question before we head back on air.
Yeah.
So, you know, you used to compete, you know, on a national level, right? How is that different? You know, do you miss it? And now you're coaching others who might be national athletes as well. You know, what is the difference for you, and how do you find it?
There are a few things that has kept the same. There are a few things that differ, obviously. I think transitioning from athlete to coach, you go from a very individualistic mindset to now being it's a team. You know what I mean? I can't just look at my own personal goals or my own personal feelings. I have to look at who's around me and helping the team or the people around me. Whereas before, you're looking at how do I become the best athlete for myself? How do I win this medal? How do I win, etc., etc. So I think one thing that really changed from being an athlete into a coach is the maturity of thinking and just being more considerate of the people around me. And it's more about others more so than myself. So that's one thing that I feel one trait that all coach should have is stop thinking me, stop thinking myself or what my own personal goals are.
It's about
you
your
won't have a job
team.
if no one believes in your training or no one wants to train with you. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
I feel grateful, I feel thankful for anyone that comes into my doors and think about others more than yourself.
See, like, so nurturing this guy.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want to be one of his charges as well.
Very mature. Good head on your shoulders.
We are going to head back on air. Come and join us. Been only gone for a little bit, but we were on Facebook Live.
We don't want him to go though.
Kelly Clarkson, but yes, we do have to wrap things up. Coach Aqil, thank you so much for joining us here. Maybe just one or two tips you can share to everyone who wants to achieve better health, better fitness in this new year.
Yep. Again, I'll stick to what I mentioned just now. Just pick one goal.
Okay.
Let's just start with one goal and be consistent.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, Coach Aqil, you are no stranger to performance at a very high level. You were a former national athlete. You've trained under some of the best coaches in the world. You were the head coach at Evolve MMA, and now you founded a Dare Training Club. Find out more about his club. It's daretrainingclub.com. Very reasonable prices, 6 months at $234, you know, classes for 12 months at $201 a month. Go find out more. He's so knowledgeable. He's so mature and definitely will tailor the training program to whatever needs that you have, be it whether recreational training or you're, you know, training for a particular sport or you're a, you know, professional athlete. You need to improve and up your fitness goals. Now, one last question from me, Coach Aqil, I want to know, on days that we do not feel motivated, we just want to sit on a couch and do nothing. As a former professional athlete, how did you keep yourself motivated on days you just didn't feel like training?
Yeah. I think it's I look at training on more of a statistics, in regards to my own training as a statistical approach. So, for example, in my week's worth, if I do get that volume, or for example, I set my goal that I need at least four days of training in that week. If I don't feel like training today, and I know if I do step into training, even though the whole discipline, motivation thing, if I don't feel like it, I know I won't get a good training, I'll rest. When I come into training, when I only come into training when I do feel good, but again, sticking to my 4 days a week, for example, so I can come in and make sure that I try and fit in. Yeah,
That's great advice.
That's one thing.
That's great advice.
So, but again, it differs, right? Some people will be like, no, you just gotta step out of the house and get it, and maybe you might feel better.
Okay.
But like I said, I think these type of things, don't be too strict with yourself. But what you can be strict to yourself is your non-negotiables are 2 times per week, for example, or 3 times per week.
Okay.
Stick to that. Now, if you need an extra day off, you do you.
Oh,
You know what I
I
mean?
love that.
You do you, but it's long.
I do me every day.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just 7 days every day.
Then I'll call you every day. I'll drag your ass up.
Oh, yes.
Thank you once again,
Yeah,
Coach
thank you
Aqil.
for having me.
Now, guys, if you see me at Dare, this lady carrying rice sacks, that's me training for my grocery shopping. Yeah.
The Bright Side on 1FM.
Good time. Greatest hit. 1FM 91.3.